Just as I thought HOA Karen might take a moment to regroup, another bombshell arrived. A notice was posted on my cabin door, demanding that I tear it down within 72 hours. According to her, it violated some obscure HOA rule she had conveniently discovered overnight. I chuckled to myself. This wasn't the first ridiculous ultimatum, and I knew it wouldn't be the last, but this one would backfire spectacularly. By mid-morning, Karen had arrived in her usual fashion. Black SUV, clipboard in hand, flanked by an entourage of board members who looked like they'd been told they were marching into battle. "You have 72 hours," she shouted, waving the notice. "If this cabin isn't removed, you will face legal action and fines." I walked toward her slowly, hands in my pockets, savoring the moment. "Interesting," I said. "You're threatening to tear down a structure that's fully legal, fully documented, and entirely on my property. Do you really think yelling and waving papers can override law, deeds, and permits?" Her face twisted, a mixture of rage and disbelief. "The HOA has rules. You agreed to the rules when you moved here." I raised an eyebrow. "Funny, I never signed anything that surrendered my property rights. And by the way, this cabin generates income legally, complies with all zoning laws, and has been inspected by the county. If you want to try and enforce anything, be my guest, though I'm already prepared legally." By noon, the standoff had escalated. Karen tried calling the police, claiming an emergency because the cabin supposedly violated community standards. When the officers arrived, I calmly walked them through the property lines, the deeds, the permits, and the county-approved inspections. Their expressions shifted from polite neutrality to quiet understanding. Karen's face fell as she realized her threats had no weight in law enforcement's eyes. Meanwhile, I quietly drafted a new overnight plan. By evening, a legal notice was posted on the cabin door stating that anyone attempting to use or enter the cabin without explicit permission would be charged triple the usual rental fees. Karen's 72-hour demolition threat had inadvertently become an opportunity. I had transformed the property into a legally protected, high-value rental asset. The board members tried to argue again, pacing the driveway, waving their clipboards, and muttering under their breath. I simply leaned on the porch railing, sipping coffee, and documented everything. Every argument, every threat, every step they took was recorded on multiple cameras and backed up digitally. If they tried anything further, I would have a legal case that would make their heads spin. By nightfall, Karen and her entourage had left, muttering about next time and legal loopholes, while the cabin remained untouched. The neighbors whispered among themselves, amazed at how a single property owner had outmaneuvered the entire HOA. Some even came by to watch, peeking over fences, curious about the drama that had unfolded. I walked around the cabin, inspecting the locks, cameras, and property lines, making sure everything was in order. The cabin and I were fully prepared for whatever Karen tried next. The lesson was clear. Intimidation, ultimatums, and arbitrary rules could not touch someone who had prepared, documented, and understood the law. As I watched the sun dip behind the mountains, casting long shadows across my property, I knew that the 72-hour threat had not only failed, it had strengthened my position. My cabin was secure, my rights unchallenged, and my authority absolute. HOA Karen's next move would have to be more than threats and fake rules, and I was ready for every single step.